Welcome to my Notes Oracle DB YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about how to manage plugins and exploring Jenkins visuals in detail. First of all, what is a plugin? Plugins are used in Jenkins to enhance the Jenkins functionality and cater to user-specific needs, just like how Gmail, Facebook, and LinkedIn help you to connect from one service to another. Plugins also work the same way and allow us to connect one service to another service and work with other products. So let's take an example. So you are going and logging into that Amazon or any other websites, so but you doesn't have account on that particular website. So in that left side you could see that there is a plugin called, like the same way you can log in with your Google account or Facebook account or LinkedIn account. So which means, so you don't have an account on that particular website, but you already had the account on this particular thing. So through this plugins you can connect from one service to another service. This is how our plugins helps to integrate like one service to another service. The next thing is like how do we search those plugins in our Jenkins instance. So in the Jenkins dashboard, actually we had a name called like a manage Jenkins. In that manage Jenkins we had like a plugins. In that plugins, once you go into the plugins, you could see that whatever the plugins you required, you can just see on that available plugins. So in case if you want to install that plugin, you can just go and install it. So once you've done that installation, it requires like some of the plugins may require a restart. So you can just select that restart, or else you can just provide like install without a restart, as I explained in the screen, right? This is how like you have to go to that manage Jenkins, the plugins. So over there you can just select that available plugins. If you want to use, you can just type that particular plugin. So once you selected that, it will show that option called install without a restart or download now and install after also. That's how we have to do that. So and also we can just see that update plugins. So that update is similar like when we are using a WhatsApp on our phone, right? There is a new features and security enhancement has been provided on that new updates. So what we have to do, we have to just go back to that our update plugins. So like in that update you can just view that whatever the plugins had the update, you can just provide like update install without a restart, or you can just provide that download now and restart. So some of the plugins would require, so which means it will show that it downloads successfully and you have to restart. So I will show you in that hands-on video. Just delete that plugin. Like it's similar like you are uninstalling any apps from your phone. Like the same way what you have to do, you have to just go back to that the same way, like you have to just install the plugins and you have to select that particular plugin, like and you can just select that uninstall. So that plugin will be uninstalled successfully. To understand that Jenkins UI, like so most probably once you install, like this is the major components like your visuals, build, user accounts, navigations, credentials, everything will be there. So let's start explore the things in detail. Once you logged in on your account, you could see this particular dashboard will be there. So here it is like a Jenkins logo. Once you have provided this Jenkins, so it will again it will be there like the way. And you as I mentioned, like so you have to select that manage plugins. So once you have selected this manage plugins, either you can go and take that particular plugins through the search, or you can just scroll down here and you can find that plugins. So we can do it two ways. So the first, once you have just selected that plugins, you could see that there are three options like updates, available plugins, and installed plugins, right? So now if I want to install something, I will just select that particular thing. Like if I just selected like this what is that exact plugin, and you can just select that how to do that. So in the documentation it clearly explains like what it will do, like what is the usage of the plugin, and everything will be explained here. And some plugins required to like configure the thing as well, so the documentation will give the clear picture. And also if you required any dependencies, those dependencies also mentioned on this documentation. And in case you want to like that any custom plugins, there is a like a thing called plugins.jenkins.io. so once you have just gone over here, you can just see that there are plenty of plugins, because like since it is like Jenkins is a open source and it's providing a support for various things, right? So you could see like all the thing. Now I want to verify that. I just want to select that ECR. So that ECR I just selected, so I can see that there are two plugins are there. You can see that what is the health score and all, and everything will be there. You can just select that particular plugin, and you can see that when it was in released, and what are that available things are there. You can just see that. So once you see that, here actually how many installs has been done, and how to configure this particular ECR and all. So installation things, everything has been mentioned here. You can just have a look over there. So you can download as well from like how to install. So you can just press here. So this is how like you can just manage Jenkins available plugins, or else you can just do that client thing as well. Sometimes if you want to do that direct upload also, you can just download this file and you can upload on this Jenkins machine as well. So you can just go back to here in that advanced settings. So once you have downloaded over here, you can just choose the file, or else you can just pass that URL and you can just give the deploy site, so that plugins would be like just updated or installed over on that machine. Now as I mentioned, like so this is how we have to install the plugin. So I will just show in a demo. The thing is like I want to install particular lambda. I can select that, install without a restart. So once I have done that, it will show that status of that particular thing. So now it was successfully installed. Even though if you want to restart the machine, you can select this option, restart Jenkins when installation is complete, no jobs are running. So this option is like once sometimes your Jenkins machine doesn't have any job, that time you can just, if you select this option, it will just restart the machine as well. So this is how you can just download the file, and you can just go back to this particular file. Here you can see that there are multiple plugins. You can see that. So you can just wonder about it, like how it was automatically installed. And in our previous like what to say, in the freestyle project and pipeline and multi-branch pipeline, we have used that Git, right? So in that Git, what we have done, we have just provided that build resource, so that Git and GitHub was already default, it was shown there, right? How it was showing in the sense, so during the Jenkins installation, so there is that option called install all the plugins, right? We have chosen those options. So these are the default plugins were installed during that installation. That's why we are seeing these plugins, right? And that enabled, like if you want, you can just disable as well. So then no jobs are running over here. And this option is help us to provide, like you want to install, in the sense you can just select this option. So it will take this screen and you have to provide that yes. So once you have done, so it will automatically uninstall. So you can just see that, see this would say like uninstallation is pending. So once it will automatically uninstall the plugin as well. And right now you want to update the plugin, in the sense you can just go back here, and so there are updates and all, it will show over here, like so this updates and all, everything will be there. So you can jump to that SSH credentials, like download once again. So once you are downloading, it will show like that credential is pending. So right now what happened, that download has been done successfully, right? And it requires the restart. So it will say like it will be activated during the next boot, which means once you restart the servers, those things has been worked up successfully. So this is how like we have to manage the plugins. We are going to see the visuals of Jenkins, right? So once you have logged in the Jenkins, the thing is like we have to you can just see that this is how your login will be there. So once you see that, there are like a build, configuration, my view and my credentials. Like the same thing will once you selected, it will show like this is the user ID, and you can see that bills as well. So whatever the bills you have done, like, so this thing will be shown on your screen, like the bills detail, and you can just see that configure. So in that configure, actually you can see that name of your thing, and you can just update your like email ID and password, and you can just see the time zone and everything will be shown here. And you can just go back to here and your credentials. So these are the credentials actually I have added on that. So you can just see that. So this is my user credential and everything will be shown here. So this, and you can just do that logout as well. Now once you have done, so this is how that our user and logout we have seen that. And the next thing is like whenever we are going to configure a new job in the Jenkins, we have to choose this new item. So that we have covered like what is a freestyle as of now, and pipeline and a multi-branch pipeline. That remaining option and all I will cover in that upcoming videos. So now we can see that build history as well. That build history will provide like whatever that jobs were executed, and those detail actually you can see that status and how many what are the build numbers are there. So everything we can see in that history. Manage Jenkins. So in that manage Jenkins, it is like mostly we are using it. Why? Because so here like it's like our settings of the Jenkins, right? The first thing we are going to see that system. So in that system, yes, so in that system actually you can see that the home directory of the Jenkins. So this is the default directory where all of our Jenkins files stored on that our agent machine, like Jenkins easy to machine, right? Over here all of my project and files has been stored under this particular directory only. And also you can just see that like how many executors and what are the labels, and like you can just provide that usage as well. Like you can just provide this thing like this will give that idea of like how what is that usage of that controls and build nodes details. And also you can just see the detail of like the URL actually just providing like that public DNS, and we are along with the port 8080. If you want to configure like that generic thing, you can just and edit this line, and you can just provide like a Jenkins demo or something. You can just provide over here. And most of our in the real time, what they will do, they will provide this URL as like a generic only. So like Jenkins like a system configuration, something they have provided in the URL. So you can just customize this URL, depends upon that. And also you can see that like in case like system admin of that particular thing, that your email ID has been configured here. And you can see that like the pipeline speed, like how it is, like you can see that the that speed and durability. So that thing we can see here. And also you can see that health metrics and timeouts, scans. So these many things are we can see that in that our option. And also you can see that there is like a GitHub servers. Since our like that plugin was already installed, like you can just directly go and configure that particular GitHub server. And you can see that API usage, enterprise, if you want to, you can just provide that pipelines. And also you can just since the plugin was already installed of this Git, you can just provide that configuration email, and you can just
choose these options, like what is that use of create a new accounts, committers, and also you can see there's various options along with that. And if you want to, you can just provide that, and this extended email will help us to in that the pipeline and multi-branch pipeline. In that you want to include that like logs and also that time it will be very helpful. And also you can see that we have to provide that configuration of like whether it is a Gmail or like Outlook or like any custom thing. We have to provide that SMTP server and port number. And you can see that if you want to provide like a credential and all, you can just provide over here, and it will provide like that output is like a plain text or HTML format. That also we can just get that. And you, if you want, like you want to get that like you want to use that bulk of headers and all, you can just provide that, and you can just configure this one. So those things we can see here. And also in that failure notification, we have configured like what is the project name, build number, and build status. So these things actually we have customized, right? Like so what the project, which means whatever the Jenkins job and which build of that particular job, one, what is the status, those things we got that notification. And so, and this is the like that URL also there. So this is that our default content. If you want to update like customize, you can just customize it, and you can just provide like a pre and post script also. And this is how like you can just define that Groovy scripts thing. And here actually for if you see that our first video, so this is how like we have configured that failure notification of that email. So we have just configured that Gmail and that suffix, and in that advanced like we have just updated our email and our credentials as well. So once you've done that, we can just verify that test of that particular, we can select that particular test email as well, so whether it is working or not. And you can just see that like how many concurrent pollings can do that thing as well. And we can add that our publishing like artifacts, all of our output to the S3, that we can achieve through this one as well. So this is what like our system configuration tools.
So this is like where we are doing that like each and like configurations, right? Nodes and clouds. So here actually we are just configuring that our agent node. So you have to just go back to here, and we have to just EC2 agent node. In that previous video actually we have covered about how to build a like configure that a worker node in that agent. So this is my agent actually. So this will provide like a built-in node is like our master node, worker node. So this is how it is showing, like if it is running it will provide the details as well. So you can just see that if you are going back to the cloud, so in that cloud actually it will show that how you have configured like this is that plugin. So once you have installed that plugin, you can see these options like how to configure that EC2 agent node and all. So that thing we can covered in our previous video. And system of logs, like if you want to see that all the Jenkins log, you can just go back here and you can verify here. So it will give that all that logs of this your system, and you can just see that log levels, whether it is info or warning, or you can just you can just provide the details, and also you can just define that how that logger info you required, like that we can define over in that system logs. And also you can just monitor that particular load of the machines, like the time span actually it's like a shorter, medium and log. So you can just see that statistics of that, and online executor, busy executor. So that details you can see in that load of this particular machine. When you want to troubleshoot, if you are facing any issue, that you can just go on verify on the load statistics. And the system information is like system properties as well, like these are that default values, and this is our environment variable like home, Jenkins, and you can see that these environment variables and the plugins whatever we have installed. If it is installed, it will show like enabled and true in the sense that is currently installed. So that detail you can see over here. So this is the purpose of system information. and that. So we have majorly covered about like this one. The next thing is like the security. The security actually you can just define like how you are going to configure that user access and all. So it's like there is an option called it's each and everything has been like maintained as been its own database. So over here it maintains that all of our user access and passwords and everything has been there, and you can see that if you want to give that any container, that container also you can provide, and also you can see that authorization. So as of now, by default, whoever the user has been created, they can get that like admin access. Now if you want, you can just use that which option is required, like whether it is matrix based or project based. Most of that major project has been used like a project based authorization only, because so each and every user have that own DL. For example, your belongs to person A is like belongs to dev team, so they are added into that dev team email group. So that email group has been attached on this project based. So once they have attached, they have provided like their dev can execute, view, and get that log of the result. So if you are belongs to some SRE team or DevOps team, they had like a full access. So based on the DL, actually they have provided that access. That is how like that project based matrix authorization will work. And if you want to go with that role based, in the sense like if you are like minimum like number of members are very less in that organization, like you have like dev team and you have like a smaller team of DBA, so then you can just go and use like role based authorization. That for role based authorization, install the plugin and we have to create and we have to provide that access. So I will discuss later in this video. So this is how we have to provide like a matrix based, or like anyone can do anything. So right now that user is logged and he can do anything, in the sense they are like a similar like admin only. And if you want to provide like the agent is like, if you want to provide like the fixed note, you can just provide that. So by default it's disabled only, and you can just see that the artifact of like where it has to be like that production server, or like where it has to be there, that you can provide over here. And that API tokens of like what exactly that API token like that thing we have to provide. And this is our like SSH servers, and so this is like a major thing of security. And the next thing is like we have to go and see that credentials. So in that credential, you can just add these credentials, like whether it is required for that. If you add the credentials, it will show like this option like user and password, or like you can just provide that secret text. And once you provided, the scope of this is like only that particular Jenkins system. And if you want to provide this particular username and thing on only particular branch, you can just do that. Also if you want, you can just provide that global, in the sense that global nodes will, that global user access will be provided, will be shown for all the Jenkins. So in that credential create, just go back to here and you can see that you can just go back to that users. So here I can just add the create user. Now I can say that test 1 2 3. You could say provide that same password test 1 2 3. I am saying that same password. I will say test user. I would say like test user at gmail.com. So this user has been created successfully. Now just go back to this here and you can say that user
and if they have any API tokens, you can just configure it and you can just see that. See that configuration actually show will like that. You can just save this thing. Now we'll do just log out. I will say like just 1 2 3. See, you can just see that the test user. So once I logged in, whatever the description I have provided, right? So that dev team user, that you can see that user is logged in, they have get the full access, right? So what I will do, I will go back to my Jenkins So once I have logged in, I will go back to the plugins. Here I will say like select the plugins. So the role-based authorization. So that download progress will shown here. So right now it is installed successfully. You can just provide that database. So here before that it was showing that only this one. Right now I have just saved that role-based strategy. Yeah, right now you can see that before it was not showing that role-based. So right now it is showing, right? Now I can just go back here. See, before when I have created that role-based plugin as an admin, I got that full privilege, right? Now I am going to say that dev team. So the dev team can get that. I will add that dev team. So the dev team has been added here. So I will say that you can just see over here. You can see all the things. I would say like read and they can replay. Sorry, they can configure, delete. Just to say read, see, contact, discover, agent, you can view, so select. Overall is now I have just done the changes. So it has been shown that overall credentials, whatever I have provided for that particular thing, you can just see that. Then you can just go back to the assign URLs, right? So in that assign, you can just see that what user are there, and you can just provide that particular user over here. For example, if I have created a user, or you can just add the user, you can just, if I go and add this test 1 2 3. Yes, this test user is available right now. That once I have added this user, I have to provide that role, whether he is admin or dev team user. So right now I have just updated that test user, right? So you can just provide that apply. Now I will just do the logout of this particular thing. I will just test user 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. So now you can see this particular use. See, since whatever the privilege he had, you can just see that. And also even he doesn't get that manage Jenkins option as well, that thing. So this is how we have to assign the role based things. Just back here and I will see. So I have just logged in onto this my thing. I will go to the manage Jenkins, and you can just come to that particular point of this assign user. So whenever you are creating a user, first you have to go and create that user, and you have to go back over here and you have to provide that see the jobs and all we have provided, right? They can create, delete and everything, right? So that's why they are able to see that build, cancel and everything. So that's, so depends upon that whatever options you are providing here, you can just see that to assign the roles. You can just create the roles and you can assign that particular thing and you can provide that. So if you are creating a roles over here, that role will be displayed here, and you can assign that all of your user over here, and you can just update the details on here. And we have covered about that user Jenkins. Go back to manage. Like at this point actually we can use, like in case you want to use that Jenkins access through that CLI, you can do the things like you can achieve that build, and you can add everything through that CLI, you can do that. And also like you can just want to shut down that thing, you can just shut down this thing so that Jenkins will be permanently shut down. You can just see that like editable email notification. So everything has been seen here. So I hope you will understand the thing.